Welcome back, baseball family. It is that time of the month. We're going to get into our power rankings that we call emoji tiers because we don't want to go 1 through 30. That's a whole lot of work. So instead, we just bunch them together and do it that way. So
Yeah.
here we go. Let's get into our emoji tiers. We're going to start from the top, go to the bottom like we always do. Brig suggested starting from the bottom, going to the top. I liked it, but it didn't work because, surprise, I added an extra tier. So we're going to start from
Yeah,
the
right.
top again this month and go
Okay.
down just so that everybody's aware of how this works at this point in the season. We are past the trade deadline. We pretty much know who everybody is. We're kind of how things are going to shake out a little bit at least. And so all the rules go out and you can put any number of teams anywhere you want. It is no longer 38883. It is anarchy. So Brig, start us
Yeah.
off with your diamond tier.
Diamond tier might be a hot take. I've got the Orioles, I've got the
Okay.
Yankees, and I've got Cleveland's baseball club.
Okay. So we only have one team in common there. Tell me about that first though.
Okay, the Yankees slumped hard for over a month. It was bad, but they held on. They were capable with only two players. Now they've added Jazz Chisholm Jr. They've fixed some stuff. They've still got rotation issues. We got to fix
Got the
pitching,
vibes.
but the vibes, man. If that's all it took, come on, man. How do you stop this team? Right? And like we said, you got a guy who's like, I'll play at third. What do I care? I'll try it. I could bet I could do that. Now with a guy like Chisholm and his attitude, his energy, and his capabilities at the plate and in the field, we suddenly have some depth defensively. And we've got a little more pop offensively that we didn't have before. I'm shocked that one guy has made that big a difference. I am literally shook. But because it has, there's no way I can put them below the diamond tier. I can't do it. That's it.
I'm here for that.
Guardians, Cleveland's baseball club, best record in baseball. They're absolutely incredible. Everything's working for them. They beat the Phillies? They split the series with the
Well,
Phillies?
for a spell there, everybody's beating the Phillies, but we'll get there.
Well, yeah, you're right. So they're really good at home. I think their road record is incredible. Um, because playing on the road is rough. And then,
hmm
yeah, I think
And
they're
who
great.
was and who was your third
And the
team again?
Orioles, the
The Orioles.
Orioles.
Okay, so we had two teams. Really, we had three teams. So I went with four teams though at the
Oh,
top.
okay, that's fair.
And honestly, like I just moved Cleveland back up there because I wasn't sure
Just
at
now.
first. I had them down lower. Yeah. But this is the thing: is like Cleveland's got some issues, right? They've got some starting pitching issues that it seems like they didn't address at the trade deadline, that are kind of a question mark. But they continue to win. They
Right.
continue to find a way to win, and that's what matters, right? Like you can have your faults, even though I'm going to contradict that here in probably like 5 minutes, I think. But that's what I'm going to say right now: is like if you continue to win, then you're good. So I have Cleveland's baseball team, the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Phillies. Now,
Yeah.
the Phillies are in a rough patch. I get it, right? Like the Yankees had a
Yeah,
rough patch. They pulled out of it. I feel like the
for sure.
the the Phillies are going to pull out of this, right?
I
I
agree.
don't know how sustainable it is because they're running their starting pitchers into the ground. It's like
Hmm.
it's almost like that trade off, right? Like, do you run your starting pitchers in the ground, have a fresh bullpen go into the postseason, or do you pace your starting pitchers and run your bullpen into the ground at the end of the season? I don't know. It's tough. It seems like they've chosen the route where you run your starting pitchers ragged, dealing with a
Yeah,
lot of injuries right now, and I think that has something to do with the bullpen has not been good,
sure.
and while the bullpen has not been good, the offense is slumping.
Big time.
So it's like that's a recipe for disaster.
Brother Harper went 0 for like 23 or
30.
24
It
in a
was like, oh,
row.
I think it was 1 for 34.
1 for
That one.
34, but 0 for
Yeah.
23 or something. It was crazy.
That is uncharacteristic for him, and I think he's pulling out of it. Alec Boehm was like the picture of consistency this weekend against the Mariners. He was the guy who was
Yeah,
killing the Mariners all weekend long.
yeah,
But I still don't feel like you can count that team out. They're one of the best teams in baseball, despite their slump. They're fine. They're fine. They're still one of the better teams for now.
yeah.
Obviously, Baltimore. Like, come on now.
Super
I
dumb.
know that they're like right there with the Yankees. The Yankees are ahead of them, but it's crazy. I think I said this before that it's crazy that the Yankees played as poorly as they did, and they're still where they are. It's like how do you deal with that as the Orioles? It's like we are doing our best.
And it
They
is
are not.
exceptional.
It
Right.
is.
It's
It's very,
it
very good.
is terrific baseball in Baltimore. But the fact that the Yankees continue to hang on and they've got their teeth just sunk into that first place spot and they will not let go. How do you not put them up in the diamond tier? How?
Right. Yeah.
It's
It's
impossible.
yeah. So I've got them up there. So those are my four teams in the diamond: Baltimore, New York, Philly, and Cleveland.
Yeah. I like it.
Let's head
I
on
like it a
down to
lot.
your heart tier, Brig.
My heart tier includes the Phillies, actually. It also
Okay.
includes a giant heart, big, fat, juicy heart for the Milwaukee Brewers. Big, fat one, like big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I mention? Did I mention how big that is? I've. This is where I
Huge.
also put the Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves, Seattle's baseball club goes here. The D-backs and the Royals all end up in this heart tier for me.
I think we have the same heart tier.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not because I have the
Ooh,
Dodgers, the Brewers, the
yeah,
Mariners, and I'll talk about the Mariners in a minute. The Twins, the Royals, the Padres, the D-backs, and I know that it's not ranked top to bottom, but if I had a bottom team in the heart tier, it would be the Braves. And the only reason I have
yeah.
them there is because they continue by some miracle to hold on to where they're at, even though like they are slowly falling out of the playoff picture. So for now, I'm going to keep them at the bottom of my heart tier. So my Mariners, with the way
The
they
team we did
played,
not agree on is the Twins. They were the one team that was not in my heart tier.
oh, Twins do a lot. So let's talk about the Twins for just a second. So the
Let's talk
Twins
about
do a lot of things really, really well.
it.
The
Mm-hmm.
problem I have with the Twins is they did not do anything to get better over the deadline. So there are teams that are
Nothing.
going to pass them, but for now, I'm going to keep them in the heart tier because, like I said, when they're healthy, they do a lot of things really well. They have some major injury concerns that they're dealing with right now, and if those guys
They
get
do.
back, then they'll be all right. But for now, I'm going to leave them there. So my Mariners, I was getting ready, Brig, to send them down to the thumbs down tier before the trade deadline,
Yep.
getting real close to it because things looked really, really ugly, and there was like a little bit of noise about a deal, but at the same time, I was like mentally preparing myself for not being one, and then waiting for the statement to be, "Oh, the right bat for the right price just wasn't on the market." Like, of course not. Sometimes you just have
Well,
to
of course,
go a little bit
Jerry.
above market price, right? Market
Uh-huh.
value. But so
Yeah.
then instead, I was pleasantly surprised. Randy Rosarina, boom. Trey Turner,
Boom.
not Trey Turner, that'd be awesome. Justin Turner,
Yeah.
boom. Love it.
Somehow.
Jimmy Garcia, boom. So happy with all three of those moves, Brig. I know Justin Turner is not prime Justin Turner anymore,
No.
but the
No.
clubhouse presence that he's having already, Brig. Mitch Haniger has adjusted his plate approach based on conversations that he's had with Justin Turner since he's been there.
Wow.
And Mitch
That's
Haniger has
awesome.
been already been better than what he has been this season, which isn't tough, but he's been way better.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to trickle throughout the clubhouse. He only has a 17% K rate to come into a clubhouse that has just been hamstrung by strikeouts all season long. And for this guy to come in and guys to be like, dude, what? And he's like, well,
Right.
share
Let
some
me tell you.
knowledge, right?
Yeah.
The Cal Raleigh strikeout rate has already dropped since he's gotten
Yeah.
there. I don't know if he's
Which
picking
is
his brain or what,
nuts.
but
I don't,
he
I don't
still leads the
understand
league.
that.
It still leads the AL in strikeouts, but not by nearly as much. So
Well, and Seattle's starting pitching rotation now leads the league with a 3.28 ERA.
yeah. Well, they ought to after that Angels series where they only
Yeah.
gave up where starting pitchers gave up one earned run in 3 games, and they still
Whoa,
got
I didn't
swept.
know that. That's
Still got
awesome.
swept because the offense was asleep.
Yeah. But I mean,
Unreal.
you win a series against the Phillies, right? You take care of business
Yep.
with the Tigers. You and then you got the Mets coming up, right? Like
Yeah,
when do the
Tigers,
Mets
then
show
Mets
up?
coming up.
Yeah.
over. So Tigers are coming to town. They'll be in town today, Tuesday. I guess the day that
Yeah.
this comes out. Today it's Monday, technically. So Tigers for 3 games, and then got the Mets this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, and then came off of a 4-2 road trip, 3 against the White Sox, facing their really good pitching. Had to face
Let's keep
Thorpe,
that clear.
Betty, and Crochet, like
Yeah. Yeah.
right, and it was those guys that they did the damage against. And then you go into Boston and just get run out of the stadium one day, deal it back the next day, and then lose a close one the day after that. So you
Yeah.
end up losing that series. But I was really happy coming home and winning a series against the Phillies. So
For sure. For sure.
that's not the only reason I have them in the heart, but things have definitely taken a step in the right direction. The vibes, Brig, the vibes are so good right now.
Yeah.
So the bats are awake.
Let me talk about San Diego for a minute, because for
Go for it.
me, it comes down to Jurickson Profar. He is a big deal. He's carrying this team at times that they need him to carry them. And then uh, we thought that they were just not involved, right? Like, it wasn't that long ago. And I know I keep saying this last 2 or 3 times, but it still just hasn't been that long since we were all just ho-humming around about the Padres. And now they've cemented their place for me in this
Yeah.
heart tier. And I think they're headed to the playoffs. Um, I think because they're going to play Colorado soon. That's going to be a no-brainer. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think, as far as the standings are concerned, it's going to be any kind of a problem. I think they're in a great spot. I would say the same thing about the Royals. The Royals, you've been preaching the Royals for the whole season, man. You got Seth Lugo
Yep.
taking care of business, right? Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, they are doing everything they need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. They are. Yep. And that offense is good enough to make up for what the bullpen lacks, which is
Yes.
a major step in the right direction from where they were last year. They lost 100 games last year, Brig,
I
and
can't
they're going to
believe that.
probably be in the playoffs this year. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, that is crazy. They're 63 and 50 right now. I don't think they'll win 100 games this year, but
No, no,
they're
but I
63 and
mean,
50.
it still
But
is just bonkers to me that they lost 101 games last year, and they are where they are now.
to your point about the bats, they have a plus 95 run differential.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying. It's taking care of business when the bullpen can't. They're holding it off. Now, I
Yep.
still don't think they're going to go deep in the playoffs, but they're going to the playoffs after losing 100 games last season. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and sometimes that you just need to get in and have that experience. I talked about that with the Mariners 2 years ago. That I
Yeah.
just like I didn't think they had it in them to make a deep run, but I thought I just want them to get in and get the experience. But then I'll be honest with you, once they did get in, I was like, maybe they do have what it takes to make a deep run,
Right.
because
Yeah, you did.
Dusty
Yeah.
Baker told Dave Sims that the only team they were worried about in that playoff run was the Mariners
And it was
in
a problem
2022.
for
Yeah,
Houston. Yeah.
yeah, they were the only team that was a
It was
problem,
a,
even though they got swept.
it was a problem for us. We were sitting there. Let me talk about the D-backs really quick. They won
Go
21 of
for it.
their last 30 games, and they still have
Fire.
injuries.
Yeah.
Like their arms are still down. So, and they had
Edward,
to pull.
I say it every time. Eduardo Rodriguez has not thrown a pitch this season. Wait till he gets
Right.
back.
Well, and they pulled what's his face, Seawald, out of the closer role because he just can't.
Yeah.
He can't pull it together. So now they're platooning in the closer spot, and they still pulled 21 out of 30. So I know the Phillies are coming to town, and I know that they've trolled the Phillies, and I know that we think it's going to be a bomb show, and it probably will. They'll probably get carpet bombed. But this is a good Diamondbacks team who's in a really hot spot right now, so I wonder what that'll do. I don't know.
Still one of the best offensive teams in baseball, too.
They are. They are. I agree with you about the
That's a really
Braves.
big deal.
The Braves are here because I want them to be here. It was between the Braves and the Red Sox, honestly, and
Hmm.
I just had to keep the Braves up there, even though it's for me it's really close between the Braves and the Red Sox. I could even put together a new tier as you did unfairly, but I love it. I love you for it. For situations like this, tiebreaker tiers or something.
Tiebreaker tiers. Oh, okay. That might be something we consider next season.
No,
Tiebreaker tiers.
it's mine. You can't have any.
Okay.
You're too young.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Go ahead with your question mark tier.
All right, my question mark tier: Red Sox, Astros, Twins, Mets, Pirates. That's how my question mark
Okay.
looks.
I have Red Sox, Astros, Pirates, Mets, Cardinals. Um, go ahead with
Cardinals.
your Go ahead with your explanations, Brig.
The
Defend yourself
Cardinals? Okay.
for now.
Okay. The Red Sox are only 2.5 games out of the wild card spot. It's far from insurmountable, right? And it all
Mm-hmm.
comes down to Alex Cora. What he's been able to do is incredible. We've talked about it a million times. Got to give the love where it belongs. Don't count the Red Sox out yet. Might not be able to count them out to the last week of the season, honestly. So for
Right.
that reason, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why they belong here, which could justify the Royals being in this spot, but it doesn't because of the reasons I've already said. Okay. The Astros, I am so confused once again by the Astros. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games, and now they're on a skid, which everybody does, and it's fine. This is just a really crappy time to skid, and if this is the beginning of the skid, that's bad for Houston. It's really good for Seattle,
Indeed.
but I'm just not, um, I'm just not excited about the Kikuchi gamble, I think we'll come to call it, because it doesn't feel like it's working out. Um,
I mean, he was good in his first outing,
yeah,
but
yeah,
uh, so this is the thing about Yusei Kikuchi is at least a few years ago he got really tired at the end of the season and was not good at all, at
correct.
all. So I think that's probably who the Astros are going to end up getting. And my big thing with the Astros is I didn't feel like they actually got better at the trade deadline
No, I don't think so.
because like you're going to send away Joey Loperfido for freaking Yusei Kikuchi.
And now Loperfido is performing in he looks like a big fish in a really
He's
bad Blue Jays
great.
pond.
He's
I know.
great. He was
Yeah,
a game changer
yeah, I
for the
know.
Astros. Like they went up to Minnesota and they won games because of plays he made in the outfield.
Yeah,
Like you're getting rid of the future face of your franchise potentially for
unbelievable.
basically a rental. I'm pretty sure Kikuchi's a rental. I want to double check
It's
this though.
not good. It's not a good situation for
I don't know why I'm
Houston.
getting so upset about this move the Astros made. I should be rejoicing. Yeah,
You
he's a
should be,
rental.
yeah, you should be rejoicing.
Maybe I'm excited
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that's what it is.
I saw that trade and could not believe that it actually went down. Toronto was just like, yeah, yes,
Yep.
like
The
that
Mets,
was
the Mets for
bonkers.
me are a confusing situation again. They've given up 5 of 8. They're now a game and a half back in the wild card conversation. Um, I feel like the hot stretch is over, and
Mhm.
that's good for a lot of other teams. It's really bad for the Mets. So again, we're looking at a team that might come down to the wire as to their playoff hopes. I don't know because let's see who's in front of them. We got the D-backs. They're catchable.
Padres.
Padres, I think, are catchable still. I don't know. And then the Braves, I think, are catchable too. So it's good. It as always. This wild card situation in the National League is going to be really tight, and the Mets are going to be in there. So for that reason, I got to give them a question mark. Um, the Pirates belong in my question mark tier for the same reasons I've kept them here every time. I think I said they would jump the Cardinals. They did, and now here we are, only 3.5 games back. I know they're like the 7th team on the list for the wild card or whatever, but they're still only 3.5 games out of the wild card spot.
I
For
have
that
4 games
reason,
out. You might want to. You might need to refresh your standings there, Brig.
I might need to. Yeah, I might need to.
I think
I'll
some
get rid
games
of
have ended since we started talking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's a good looking out, Brad.
I got you.
I appreciate you. The problem is the relief pitching in Pittsburgh is an issue, and You just can't get around it. So I
Only
think they've had
offense
two
isn't that
blown
great either.
saves. Yeah, yeah. So that's why Pirates are here. I'm just not I'm not sure yet. And but they still lapped the card. They still jumped the Cardinals, which I predicted. And so I'm like I can't count them out yet. You know.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. The Pirates are like a legit. So this is the thing: is that I felt like Houston, Boston, the Mets, and the Pirates were all legitimate question marks. That like
Yeah.
I don't know who this team is day to day. You're going to get
Yeah.
somebody else that's going to show up every single day. Um, and like I said, with Houston, a big part of it was I didn't feel like they got better at the deadline. I thought they got worse when they were trying to make a move to get better.
Right. Yeah, I think
So
so too.
that's going to be a problem for them because they could potentially end up moving down to the thumbs down tier
Yeah.
come September. Boston, they have these bursts where they are world beaters, and then they go on another burst where they can't beat anybody.
Yeah.
So this it's just weird, and I think that the Mets, the ride is about over. The Grimace ride is about over with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the juice is going to expire, and they're not going to. I don't think they're going to make it. Pittsburgh, if the offense was better, I would give them a little bit more credit. But they watching I've watched a few Pirates games this year, and watching the Pirates is like a little bit like watching the Mariners minus the really good back end of the bullpen.
Right.
Like for some reason, I just like watch teams that can't score runs. I don't know why. So they're like, yeah, this pitching is really good. Oh wait, no, this offense stinks. But
Oh man.
and then the Cardinals. So the Cardinals, I didn't think they were bad enough to put in the thumbs down tier because they're still right there. Like they're only behind the Pirates by 0.001% of
Yeah.
in the standings, right? It just happens to be that the Cardinals have played two more games than the Pirates. So that's the difference there. But I do think they are trending downward, and I think that part of that is that they could also be another team that is by the time we get to September could be in the thumbs down tier rather than the
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's
Okay,
talk about
give
the
us your
Cardinals because they're in my thumbs
okay.
down, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, I think for me, we're looking at Tommy Pham and he's kind of anchoring this downward spiral for them. He's not the only reason. There's a lot of reasons. But I think Tommy Pham will continue to be the signal line, if you will. We're
The
going to watch
acquisition of
him.
Tommy Pham.
Yeah, and then his performance will be the yardstick, right? He if we're looking at it as a line graph, that first ball that moves around the line graph is going to be Tommy Pham. And I
Hmm.
think he's what, 8 for 20 or something? 8 for 21.
I
So,
don't know. I'll
I
check
don't
right
know.
now though.
I'm not it's something like that. And I don't know. I don't think the Cardinals are better than the
He
Pirates.
is nice off the top of your head, Brig. 8 for
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that. But yeah, so anyway, I think they'll go as he goes and he's going down. And I think they're going to go down with him.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because a lot of players like Tommy Pham. I mean, Jock Peterson aside, obviously, but I
Right.
think like there are a lot of guys in the league
Chuck.
who want Tommy Pham on their team because he's a competitor
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
he puts in the work, right? Like that's why they want him on their team. But unfortunately, he's 36 years old.
Yeah,
That's not the
I'm
kind of
not saying it's
acquisition you
over
make to
for
turn your
him, but
team around.
no, it's not. Who's the guy in Los Angeles, the Angels? What's that guy's name who's playing like he's already announced his retirement? Why can't I think of his name?
5 minutes later.
And
Says
yeah,
Pilar says he's likely to retire after the season,
yeah,
but Kiermaier
he
for
says,
the Dodgers said 100%.
oh, he is for sure. Okay, but did you see Kevin Pillar's diving catch the other day? Like
Yes, that
two
was
days
prime
ago or something?
Pilar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go. Look at this. That's the guy I want out of Tommy Pham. I want that. I want an old guy Tommy Pham, like old guy Kevin Pillar is giving the Angels. And it's not. That's not what we're getting right now. And so if Tommy Pham can pull it together and, be the Tommy Pham everybody loves and wants, except for Jock Peterson. I loved that comment. It'll turn things around a little bit in St. Louis. I hate to say it because I really enjoy St. Louis Ball Club, but that's where I put them.
Okay, who else do you
Let's
have your
see.
thumbs
Who
down?
else? This is where the Giants go. The Rays go here. The Cubs go here. Rangers, Reds, Nats, Tigers. They all fit in this category for me because meh, right? Either they
Mhm.
didn't pick up enough guys at the deadline, or the deadline stuff didn't work, or they held firm and that's not working. I think the Cubs have taken a complete nosedive. That's no surprise, but now it's a
Yeah,
cemented situation. They're sleeping with the fishes by the end of the season. Um, the
pair of
Tigers,
cement shoes.
Tigers, the Tigers are a joke right now, and I hate it. But they're not bad enough to be in my poop tier. But boy, they would be 24 out of the,
Where
on the.
where are the good Tigers we've been looking for the last 2 to 3 years? Like
I
where is that
I
team?
don't know. I feel like they have put all of like Tyrek Skubal has pulled all the mojo into himself.
Apparently.
That's it.
Well, him and
That's
Jack
it, man.
Flaherty before he got
Flaherty, yeah,
traded.
that's the other guy.
Yeah. Okay, so my thumbs down. I've got the Giants, the Cubs, the Reds, Nats, Marlins, Rays, Rangers, Tigers, Blue Jays, Angels. So let me start with the Angels real quick. Angels
Okay.
probably honestly deserve to be in the poop tier, but the fact that they are only quote unquote only 14 games under 500, I thought I'd give them the benefit of the doubt and put them in the thumbs down because the teams that are in my poop tier are far worse than that. Well, I shouldn't say far worse because the A's are there. But anyway, so the Giants just like, I don't get why they can't figure it out. Like, it might be like I said in my takeaways that you can't sign a bunch of over the hill guys and expect to win a bunch of games because it doesn't just, and like, that's the problem the Cardinals have, right? Like a bunch of guys
Yeah.
past their prime, you're trying to win games, but it's not
Or
happening.
they're young.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no in between. Nobody's in their
Near
prime. They have nobody on that team in their
no.
prime.
Newlywed or nearly dead. That's what we would call
Yeah,
that.
exactly right. Yes, exactly right. I mean, like Matt Chapman is like quietly putting up this outstanding season on this team that
Yeah.
continues to lose. But anyway,
Okay, but
um,
he's got a ton of errors. He leads third baseman in errors.
but he's got a five. He's got a B WAR of 5.
I know, but he still leads
Like
the third baseman in errors. Come on.
he's making up for it offensively.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
he's up to 5.1 with his WAR this season.
All right. Well, good for
That's
him.
crazy. I
That's
did not see
crazy.
that
That doesn't
coming,
make
by the
sense.
way. Like surprises of the
No.
season, Matt Chapman, 5+ WAR. Okay, the Reds continue to disappoint me. They just can't get out of their own way. It's just Ellie De La Cruz continues to strike out. They signed Ty France. Good for him that he's on a big league club, but they got
Yeah.
no hit the other day. And our friend Jay texted me. He's like, oh, it looks like the Ty France effect is in full swing in
It has settled
Cincinnati. It's
in.
like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
that's I don't like that, but that's really funny.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Nats, they're just not there yet. They'll get there. They're
Nope.
just not there yet. They
Yeah.
have a ton of talent, but those guys are so young. The
Couple
Marlins quit
years. Yeah.
competing. I should have put the Marlins in my poop tier because they quit competing in May. The Rays got rid of everybody. They're not competing anymore. Probably belong in the poop tier as well. The Rangers just can't do it. Right?
No, they can't.
Too many injuries to go along with just not enough guys performing. Like it's just been a perfect storm of bad there. They're only like
Yeah.
4.5 games back in the West, but at the same time, though, like overcoming that and catching the Mariners, who very well could at any point melt down, right? Like I'm not
Sure.
naive to the
Yeah.
fact that offense could just crap to bed again and just stop
Totally.
playing well and then be catchable. But I don't think it's going to
Yes.
happen enough. Sorry, the Rangers are 5.5 back. I don't think it's going to happen enough for the Rangers to catch them at this point
I don't think so.
with inside 2 months of the season to go.
No.
And then Detroit, we talked about them. Toronto, just not good. Not a good team.
No. Bad. Which is
Which
why
is
they
just
belong in the
very
poop tier, Brad. And they're
okay.
at the top of my poop tier. They're the tippy top of the heap. Which is probably the best place to be if you're going to be on the poop pile, is at the tippy top, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So my poop tier is Blue Jays, Angels, A's, Marlins, Rockies, White Sox, and the stinking, fetid, moist underbelly of that is the White Sox.
The White Sox. That was very graphic. Incredibly graphic. So I only have two. I only kept two teams in my poop tier. I have Oakland and Colorado in my poop tier right now. Okay. I came up with a
That's it?
special tier just for the
Okay.
White Sox. It is
Oh.
my toilet tier.
This-
I want to put them in there and flush them down so I never have to look at them again. I would rather be on the poop pile. We'd rather looking at the poop pile than looking at what is in the toilet that needs to be flushed down and flushed away.
Yikes.
That's where the White Sox
that's the realest, as they
because
say
this
these
is the
days.
thing, Brig. Like AJ Przinsky talks about this on Foul Territory. He's like, they're like, are they gonna break the record? He's like, do it. Just do it. At this point, you might as well. Might as well just do it. If you're gonna be bad, be really bad. Be the best at being bad. And I totally agree.
I do too.
Just stop trying. And this is the thing that blows my mind. I can't believe Pedro Grifol still has a job.
And he's going to get paid $1 million next year, no matter what.
I would pay him $1 million.
Did you know that?
Away. If I was a White Sox
they're gonna...
fan, I would. I know.
Yep. He's one of the I think he's one of the top 5 highest paid managers in Major League Baseball right now.
Okay, you want to know something funny, Brig? I was looking at this earlier today because I was fascinated by this. So, 2021 at Tony La Russa, they finished 93-69. They won the division. They won the AL Central.
Okay.
2022 underachieved. Tony La Russa left. I can't remember left if he was fired partway through the season. He had a 63-65 record, but they finished 81-81, 500 team. Okay.
Yep.
And I get it. There was some dysfunction there with Tony La Russa, right?
Oh yeah.
There were some bad things going on, and things kind of fell apart there, and that's why they finished 500. Well, last year, Pedro Grifal's first year, you know what their record was last year?
What?
61-101 with a team that was supposed to be good. They lost 101 games.
Didn't they win the division a couple years ago?
They won the division in 2021. Yeah, when they won 93 games.
Yeah.
So then 2 years later, with not that different of a team, you finish 61-101, and you're like, okay, you fire Rick Hahn. Let's see what that does. Well, then you come into the 2024 season with some names, right? Like I remember I popped over to their spring training at the beginning of the season, or during spring training, obviously, to their backfields, and I saw guys walking by. I was like, wait a minute. Like, there's some pretty good players on this team. Like, I even pulled the 40-man roster. I was like, not great, but
you know them. You've heard of them.
30 wins in a season bad.
No.
Right?
Nope.
I don't understand it. There's got to be.
No.
Chris Getz should either be fired and probably never work in baseball again, because clearly he doesn't know how to put together a team. I'm sorry,
hanging on the front office. Are you not going to hang it on the manager?
Who puts the players out on the field?
Yeah, it's front office.
Who's the guy who's like, yes, this combination of players? Like that's why I put a lot of it on the front office, because they're the ones who say, you know what, this combination of players should work. This combination of players didn't work so badly that they're going to set a record for losing the most games in a season. But with that, Pedro Grifol absolutely needs to go.
Oh yeah.
100%, because I also don't think it's a coincidence that he came in here and suddenly took a 500 team to a 100 loss team 2 years in a row.
Nope, it's not a coincidence.
Did you hear what he said to the team coming out of the All-Star break?
No.
The gist of it was, you guys are going to set at this pace, you guys are going to set a record for losing the most games in history, and people are going to remember you by that. They're going to remember everybody in this room by that. It's like, no, I don't think so. Like, it might be a little confusing that Luis Robert was on that team, but mostly it's just going to be like, it was the White Sox. Who was the manager? Pedro Grifol.
Yeah, it's going to be him.
Especially,
it won't even be.
I cannot beat this dead horse enough, especially since they went from a 500 team to a 101 loss team last year. Like that,
Yeah.
that blew my mind. With a change
Well, and
in manager, that
it
was
won't be
that
the front
good.
office. They're not going to remember him. The
No,
general manager, I mean. Nobody's going to remember
nobody
him.
cares. Nobody cares.
No. Even though it's a big deal. it's not going to matter.
I will say, White Sox fans 10 years from now, when they talk about this year, they'll talk about Pedro Grifol and Chris Getz, but those are the
Yeah,
only people.
they will.
Like,
Yeah.
as a Mariners fan, I talk about Jack Zarenzik all the time, just like, oh, that
You
Jack
do.
Zarenzik, right? But
Yeah.
nobody else does. Nobody else knows
Right.
who that guy is. So
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
anyway, so they're in my toilet tier.
I like your toilet tier, Brad. It's an
Thank you.
impressive tier
I appreciate that.
for an impressively bad team.
Indeed they are. Indeed they are. But baseball family, let us know what you think about our emoji tiers, aka our power rankings. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Should we do some rearranging? Let us know down in the comments, or you can send an email to baseballtogetherpod@gmail.com. We will see that and we will respond, or just read it on the air and respond that way. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.